The Sharpeville Massacre, which occurred on March 21, 1960, was one of the most pivotal moments in South African history. It was a tragic event in which 69 black South Africans were killed and hundreds more were injured by police during a peaceful protest against apartheid laws. South Africa was under the system of apartheid, a policy of racial segregation and discrimination enforced by the National Party government. Under apartheid, non-white South Africans were denied many rights, including freedom of movement, access to quality education, and the ability to vote. A key piece of legislation that oppressed black South Africans was the pass laws, which required black people to carry passbooks that restricted their movements and access to certain areas. By the late 1950s, resistance to apartheid had been growing with movements like the African National Congress, ANC, and the Pan-Africanist Congress, PAC, leading the charge. In 1960, the PAC decided to stage a national protest against the pass laws. They called on people to leave their passbooks at home and to present themselves at police stations where they would be arrested for not carrying their passes. The protesters were met by a heavy police presence. At around 100 p.m., the situation escalated when a crowd of about 5,000 people had gathered, and tensions started to rise. The police, fearing that the protest could turn into a riot, formed a cordon around the crowd. On March 21, 1960, thousands of people gathered outside the Sharpeville police station, a township near Vereeniging, south of Johannesburg, to participate in a peaceful demonstration organized by the PAC. The protesters had no weapons, and they sought to peacefully present themselves for arrest as a form of protest against the apartheid system. Some reports indicate that the police were nervous as they were unsure how to handle the large number of people. In response, the police opened fire on the unarmed protesters. They continued shooting as people. The situation quickly turned violent when, according to some accounts, a single shot was fired. The exact circumstances of how the shooting began are still debated. Ran for cover, and by the time the shooting stopped, 69 people were dead and 180 others were wounded. Most of those killed were shot in the back while attempting to flee. Many were women and children. The police claimed they had fired in self-defense, but there was no evidence that the protesters were armed or posed any real threat. The Sharpeville Massacre shocked the world and ignited international outrage against the apartheid regime. The event marked a significant turning point in South African history, galvanizing both local and global resistance to apartheid. The United Nations condemned the actions of the South African police, and many countries imposed sanctions or boycotted South African products. In South Africa, the massacre led to even stronger calls for action against the apartheid system. The ANC and PAC were banned soon after, and many of their leaders were arrested. The massacre also led to the armed struggle against apartheid, with the ANC eventually adopting more militant tactics, such as sabotage and guerrilla warfare, which were led by figures. For black South Africans, the Sharpeville Massacre was a stark reminder of the brutality of apartheid. It led to a shift in the mindset of many South Africans who realized that the apartheid regime was willing to use extreme force to maintain control. In the wake of the tragedy, a wave of outrage swept through the nation, igniting a fierce resolve among the people to challenge the oppressive system that sought to silence them. Nelson Mandela emerged as a symbol of hope and resistance, rallying countless individuals to join the fight against apartheid, inspiring them to believe in a future where justice would prevail. As protests gained momentum, the spirit of unity among the people grew stronger, with parents teaching their children the importance of standing up for their rights, passing down the dreams of freedom. Even in confinement, Mandela's spirit remained unyielding as he used his time in prison to strategize and inspire others, proving that hope could never be imprisoned. When Mandela was finally released, the nation erupted in celebration, marking a turning point in South Africa's history as the dream of freedom became closer to reality.